Thumbnails can be very hard to make without the appropriate tools. But what if I told you that there is an easy tool that was released a few days ago that can actually make it a lot easier to create thumbnails for your Minecraft Let's Plays or other series? In today's video, we are talking about Mannequin. Mannequin is a mod currently published in beta by Cublem, and from what I've seen, it's actually pretty awesome. Obviously, there's still a lot to work on, but they are doing great work from what I could tell, so I'm very looking forward to the future of it. Though enough with that, let me actually show you what Mannequin is all about, and let me actually give you a few examples of what you can do with it. With Mannequin, you can simulate NPCs, which basically can show mobs or other players, which can be very useful for your thumbnails. To do so, we're just gonna open the chat and enter /mannequin, and then we have a few commands we can use. Using Mannequin config, we can open menu, which allows us to customize some keybinds, camera settings, and display settings for Mannequin. Another command Mannequin offers is the Mannequin create command. The Mannequin create command allows us to create an NPC, which is then being spawned here. The next thing we can do now is we can right-click the NPC to actually open a menu, which allows us to customize a lot of settings about it. For example, allows us to change the rotation of the mannequin we spawned or the position. We can generally change individual parts of the mannequin by going up here and selecting the part we want to modify. To do that, we can select the part we want to modify and it will show up here. We can also show and hide individual parts by clicking hide, so if this mannequin, for example, doesn't have a hat anymore. I know it looks creepy, right? If we want to show it again though, we can just click on show all and it's being shown again. If we now go onto this arrow and select root, we can also change the whole mannequin, and so we can go there and, for example, select rotation and actually change the rotation of it. Mannequin also allows us to change the scale of our mannequin by moving the slider, which makes it bigger or smaller than it already is, which is pretty awesome, you know. Mannequin also allows us to change the state of the mannequin so that we can, for example, set it to be sneaking or having a herd overlay, which makes it look like it's being attacked. That can be very useful for creating some thumbnails where, for example, showcasing a PvP situation, which is pretty cool. Now you may ask, Coldline, how can you change the item the mannequin has in his hand or change the item he has on his armor? Well, that is actually quite easy, so let's just go into our inventory and select some armor pieces, like for example diamond helmet or a diamond leggings. Now you're going to click on the mannequin and you can see that on the right we have some buttons which have the name helmet, chestplate, leggings and boots, and now we can just go there, select the diamond leggings, click the mannequin, and then we can click on leggings so that it actually gets to wear the leggings. We can even do that with other blocks which a player normally couldn't wear by just selecting that block and clicking the mannequin, and now we can, for example, set a wood block as a helmet. If you ever want to remove the wood block, we can just select an empty field on our hotbar and then click on the helmet symbol again to remove the item. Another nice thing Mannequin allows us to do is to hide the shadow of the mannequin, which does not really seem to work for me, which could be because I'm using a shader. Let's actually try to do that without a shader for a second. So if I now disable no shadow, we see a shadow, we can disable that one by just clicking the no shadow button. If we want to change the direction the mannequin is looking at, we can also just move it at a different position with our own character and then select the mannequin and say face player so that it actually just moves to the right direction we're standing, which is pretty awesome for customizing how the mannequin looks. But now you may ask, I don't want my mannequin to look like Steve. Steve is pretty great looking, but I don't want Steve there. You know, you might be thinking that, right? Please tell me. Okay, for changing the way your mannequin looks, you can just click on the skins tab up here, and then you can either select a URL from a skin website where your skin is uploaded, or you can just click on browse skin file and select the file showing your skin. If I do that now, you will see that I can just make it show my skin. As you can see, now it's showing one of my skins, which is looking pretty beautiful, right? So why is his chest looking like that? That was not intentional. Click on the mannequin again, we can also see that we have a bunch more customization options. For example, clicking on models to just select a different model for our mannequin, which is not a player, but for example, a camel. Now our mannequin looks like a camel, which is currently being attacked and wearing diamond pants. Let's just not question that. Well, if we disable the herd overlay, it also looks a bit nicer now. So yeah, we can spawn a camel if we want to. If we click on our mannequin again, there's also another customization option which I pretty like, because we can just go there and click on presets to actually save a preset of a mannequin we think looks very awesome. So we can just go there and give it a name like test123 and click on save, and now we can select that mannequin to just load it on a different mannequin if we want to. I also created a mannequin in the past, so if I select that one, you can see that this mannequin actually changes to that one, which is pretty awesome. If we now want to change back to the camel we had before, we can just click on our mannequin, select presets, and then click here to get our camel back, which is pretty cool. In my opinion, there are still a lot of things Mannequin is currently missing promising, but since only in beta right now, I'm very much looking forward to what they are doing in the future. I am also gonna link their Discord in the description as well as my Discord. If you're interested in Mannequin, just check out their Discord and support the project by giving them ideas and inspirations to what they can do better. And if you want to support me, you can also check out my Discord to actually just be notified whenever I upload a new video, which would be pretty awesome. Also, if you want to support this channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and leave a like. That would be really awesome and would make me really happy. So yeah, that would be pretty awesome. Just do that, please. Okay, come on. So with that being said, I'm gonna end this video, and if you liked the video, like and subscribe. And yeah, we are gonna see us again very soon in a new video.